الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Here once again, I'm today the guest of your houses, and inshallah we will be continuing some of the questions related to the sisters. Yesterday we took few questions related to the sisters issues, which is the monthly period, and today we will take some more questions about that, and we'll continue inshallah azza wa jal with the next chapter. So without further delay, question number one is, a sister is asking that I'm a woman working in the kitchen, and before the adhan of the Maghrib, I start feeling the pains of my monthly periods, and I start feeling the movement of the blood, and still I did not make the iftar. So when I went to make a wudu, I did not see any blood coming. Then after the Salat al-Isha, the blood started coming. So what about my fasting of that day? Keeping in mind that the feeling of the pain or the feeling of the movement of the blood was before Maghrib, but the actual blood was coming after Isha. So the sister went, she prayed the Maghrib, then she goes after the Isha. She didn't pray the Isha, but still she went after the Isha. After the Isha, she goes and she to make a wudu, and then she saw that the blood is coming. So what is about her fasting of that day? The answer for this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the monthly period, the starts of the monthly period, and as far when you see the blood, about the feeling of the movement of the blood or the feeling of the pain of that that type of the pain that you get in that time, it is not, there is no you cannot build the decision upon that until you see the blood coming. Then the period will be started. So the sister in this case, she didn't saw the blood before the Maghrib, so it means her fasting of that day is correct. And if she did not pray the Isha, that Salat al-Isha, she has to remake that Isha when she is done her monthly period, because the Salat al-Isha was also in the time of the cleanliness. She was clean on that time. The period was not started yet. So she went after the Isha, she went and then she saw that. So if she did not pray the Isha, she has to remake the Isha. But as far as her fasting is correct. Nothing is upon that. The sister is asking another question from a sister. This is also very important, especially when the sisters in the month of Ramadan, maybe they want to do that, or in the especially when they go to the Hajj, they want to do this, taking the pills for the stop of the that monthly period. It is so is it allowed to take that to complete my fasting? It is allowed. There is nothing wrong with that, but keeping in mind, as far it does not harm you, as far this pills does not bring any other side effects to you, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith, "La darara wa la dirar." So it does not, if it does not brings any other harm, and does not bring any other side effects to you, so in that case there is no problem, you can take that one. But keeping in mind, the best is to stay as you are. You do not take the pill. That is the best, and that is the complete, and that is the very, very good opinion of the scholar. They say this is the best, to stay away from these pills, for two reasons. Number one, because these pills, they mix up everything. Sometimes they do not bring the proper result. That's number one issue. Number two, you are the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you like that. This is the command, this is the matters which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did for her servants, from the females, from the women. So this is just be patient and stay with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and accept what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed for you. So this is not something that you are doing it by yourself, or somebody else is doing it, or somebody else's fault or your fault. No, this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's happening to you. Be patient, and there will be a reward in all these things. So on the side, as you said, it is allowed to take, but the best is not to take those pills, because for two reasons. Number one, it mixes up everything, and number two, the whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed for his servants, so they should accept that from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another question, the sister, related to the sisters as well, that I did the sahur before the fajr, and half an hour before the fajr, and then I felt that my period is started when the adhan was called the fajr. So I went to make a wudu for fajr. Then I saw that the blood was coming. So what should I do? Should I remake this day or no? Yes, you do remake this day. This day the fasting is not correct. It's not allowed to fast on that day. So you break your fast, and then you remake this one after the month of Ramadan, when you are okay. So that is if somebody's period was started and after the fajr, or in that moment. Although you woke up and you did the sahur, you made the intention, everything was done, but after the fajr, that's what happened. So then you have to remake that day. That fasting, that day is gone. Another question, that after Salat al-Isha, my period was done, and I took a shower, I cleaned myself, and I made the intention of the fasting for tomorrow. But after the Salat al-Zuhr, I saw some yellowish color things, and these kind of stuff I saw a little bit when I used the washroom. Should I remake this day? The answer for this question, it is your fasting is correct. You do not remake this day, because these yellowish things, when it's seen after the a few hours after the period is over, there is no it is not an issue, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam radiyallahu anha, she said, كنا لا نعد الكدرة والصفرة shay'a. The yellowish and the kudra, these things we used to not consider them any thing after the cleanliness. So if it happens after the cleanliness, few drops or something like that you saw, you do not worry. You should complete your fast, and your fast will be correct, and it's okay. This is another beautiful question, and it might happen to some of the sisters when there is no knowledge and when there is no proper understanding of the deen. The question is that in reality, whenever I used to get my monthly period, I used to break my fast, but I do not remake them. I do not remake my fasting, and there is many years passed on this, and I don't know how many years I have been doing this. So what should I do? The answer is that this is a laziness. This is a laziness and understanding of your religion. This is a laziness and not being diligent and being careful about your deen and about your religion. These days you have to remake them. It is must upon you to remake all those days. So now, as the sister said, that she don't know how many years she have been doing this, she break her fast in the month of Ramadan when the monthly period starts, and then she do not remake it. So the answer for that is, you try your best to remember how many years that happened, and what is the most like thinking when you are thinking, what is the majority of the percentage of the thinking, the assumption you assume, and then what is the highest percentage of the assumption, or it goes to those years. So you start from there, and then you fast all those days that you have been neglecting, and you did not fasted those days until you complete all those days. And the Sheikh mentions two things there. for the sisters, they have to be very careful with those two. Number one, when you are remaking all these fasts, these days, it could be many days, a lot of days. Maybe you did for 5, 6, or 7 years, you have been doing this. So when you are fasting that, it will be a lot of days. You won't be able to fast all of them at one shot. It is not must that you fast all of them one shot. You can break them into every week you fast 2 days, every week you fast 3 days, like that. And also, because you did not fast on time, so what you have to do, you have to give food instead of every day. For every day you have to give a food, a one-time food to a miskin, to a poor person. You have to feed somebody as a poor person. You have to feed a poor person each day, one poor person you feed that. And that is because of the because you did not fast those days. Because the sisters, when what is the ruling, when you broke some of the days, you did not fast some of the days, 5 days or 7 days or 10 days, you did not fast because of your issue. So when the Ramadan is over, until next Ramadan comes, you have to fast. You have to finish these days. Whatever is upon you, you have to finish those days before the next Ramadan comes upon you. So if purposely the next Ramadan came and you did not fast it those days, and the next Ramadan approached you, so in this case you are going to fast those days after that Ramadan. And also you have to feed every day one poor person for not fasting on time. So this is also something that you have to keep in mind. You have to be careful with that, that if you did not fast your days until next Ramadan, after the next Ramadan, when you are fasting those days, you are going to feed a person as well. And you are when you are remaking your days that you have to. There's another question that the sister said, my bleeding was stopped, and then in the month of Ramadan, and it came back after a week, and it continued for 4 days. But what I did, what the sister said, what I did, I kept fasting all those 4 days that the blood was coming. I was bleeding, and I was in that situation. So I fasted. I thought this is not counted from those days. So is my action, what I have did, I mean fasting is correct? No, it is not correct. So you shouldn't have fasted those 4 days, and you have to remake those 4 days, because these 4 days also considered from your period. The question also, when fasting is becoming compulsory upon young girls, we spoke about that, and we said whenever she reaches the age of puberty, and we mentioned what are the signs of the age of the puberty when they become mature. What are the signs? We mentioned those signs also. I'm just gonna skip this question. Question number, the other question is, one of the sisters is asking that my daughter is reached to the age of puberty, and she is 11-year-old, but she is physically very weak. So is the fasting is compulsory upon her, and in the situation that she cannot fast because of the physical weakness, she cannot fast. What should she do? Number one thing we have to understand that the monthly period. The sister said that she was reached to the age of puberty. She mentioned that she gets her monthly period. So that is the sign of the bulugh, the sign of the mature age of puberty. So, and that means the Ramadan is must upon her, and she has to fast the month of Ramadan. And you have to command your daughter in that, and you have to encourage your daughter, and you have to mention to her the reward that she is getting on fasting. And you have to mention to her that this is an obligation as a Muslim. She has to do that. She should try to fast, but if it was really difficult for her, let her fast, let her do her fasting. But if you saw after Zuhur and after Asr that she was not able to continue the fasting because of the physically weakness, in that case she will break her fast, and then she remixed those days that she was not able, or if she was not able the whole month even, so then she whenever she get stronger, and after that she can remake those days, and she has to remake them after that, whenever she is able, until next Ramadan. This is a question also from a young girl that I'm 20 years old, and when I first became, when I reached to the age of puberty, I didn't know that I have to fast, or I didn't know that the fasting is compulsory upon me. Uh, uh, and I saw my monthly period was started when I was 14, but the next year I started fasting. So is upon me the qada, the remaking of the month of Ramadan that I did not fast, because the first year when she became mature and she used to, she did not fast. She didn't know that the fasting is compulsory upon her. This is a Muslim when he becomes a mature, or she becomes a mature, or they reaches to that age, it is must upon them, this is that they have to fast, and it is and she has to remake that month, the whole month of Ramadan, and she has to remake and fast 1 month for not fasting that month. And in the fasting, she can fast separately 2 3 days every week, although the continuation fasting the whole month is better to fast 1 month after each, continuously, consecutively, to fast 1 Monday. This is a question from a sister who had a new child. She says that I from the nifas. This is called nifas. When the sisters they get the child, so they are for certain days there is blood coming and they are bleeding. So those days this is called the nifas. The scholars they mentions that the maximum days for that is 40 days. That is the maximum day. So this sister said that after 30 days I was the blood was stopped, so I was clean, and then the month of Ramadan came. The month of Ramadan came upon. So what I did, I completed 40 days. It means the first 10 days of Ramadan she did not fast it, because she heard that the nifas is 40 days. Is my action is correct? No, this is a huge mistake. It is the maximum that the mashayikh, the scholar that they mentions, it is maximum is 40 days, and somebody could be clear, the blood might stop after 10 days, after 15 days, after 20 days. So that's depending upon the situation of the sister, upon the maybe physical strength of the sister. So it doesn't mean that you have to not pray and not fast all until the 40 days. No, that is nothing. It is the maximum. The mashayikh mentioned that the maximum days for that is 40. And after 40, even if the blood is coming, it does not consider anything. It's a regular sickness. So you have to pray and you have to fast. So this is the mistake, is that some sisters may be having understanding that I have to complete 40 days, although even if it's not, I'm not sick, I'm not bleeding. So no, you have to, this is a huge mistake, and you have to, whenever you are clean, and after that you start your obligations, your salah and everything. The next question is that I saw cleanliness. I became clean. My period was over before Fajr, by a little bit time before the Fajr. It means I did not have enough time to take a shower. I have to also, I made my sahur, and I took a shower after the Fajr. After the Fajr, I took a shower. Is my fasting is correct? Yes, the fasting is correct for the intention. As far you made the intention before the Fajr, your fasting is correct. As for the delaying the shower, this is nothing to do with the. There is no problem for that, because it is not the cleanliness or being upon the wudu or being upon the cleanliness from all those things. It's not a condition for the correctness of for the correction of the fasting. It is nothing to do. So you can eat your sahur. If you had the chance to take a shower before Fajr, you can take. If not, then when the adhan is called after that, you can go and you take a shower, and your fasting is correct. Nothing is upon you. This question is related to the question number 2. I believe in the same chapter we did that. So if my monthly period was started before Maghrib by few minutes, so should I remake this day? Yes, you remake the day. Although it's a few minutes before the Maghrib, you were fasting the whole day, you didn't eat, you didn't drink anything, but before Maghrib, by 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or whatever the time, the few minutes before Maghrib, you are the monthly period was started. So in this case, this day is gone, and you have to remake this day. These are the few questions. These were the questions about the issue of the sisters, and the new chapter is about the vomiting. If somebody vomited in the month of Ramadan while he or she was fasting, or the taking like you swallowing your spits, or the balgam, these whatever comes in your mouth, or would you when you you have your chest is blocked, or when some of the time the balgam comes. So what happens? Those things, if you swallow them, what happens to your fasting? It's a few questions. We will take one or two questions, inshallah azza wa jal. Question number one. This is a sister that she is pregnant. I'm a woman, pregnant woman, and after the Fajr Salah, I start feeling laziness, and I start in my stomach, like I starting it was kind of I was not feeling well. So I thought the only solution for me will be to, if I vomited, I might feel good. So what is the ruling of my fasting? So the sister is, although she is pregnant, she's fasting. If the vomiting was without your unintentionally vomiting, not purposely, you did not vomit it, it was just happened by itself, then your fasting is correct. But if you purposely did vomited, you put your finger in your mouth, or you try to smell some of the things to make you vomiting because you think the vomiting will make you feel good. So if it was purposely vomiting, you did it by yourself, you put your finger in your mouth, or you smelled purposely smelled those things, some of the bad things that you wanted to vomit because of that. In this case, yes, you have to remake your that day. That fasting is broken. That fasting is not correct. You have to remake your fasting, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man zara'ahu al-qay'u falaysa alayhi qada." If somebody vomited unintentionally, unpurposely, there is no qada, no remaking of that day upon him. But if somebody istaqa'a, this scene is, it means he did it to himself. It means it is talab. It means you did it to yourself. Purposely you vomited, or intentionally you vomited. In that case, amdan, purposely. In that case, you falyaqdi, you remake your that day. So in the vomiting issue, there is two things. If it is unintentionally, if it's not purposely, if it happened by itself, you continue your day and you can you complete your fasting is correct. It's okay. But if you did it purposely and intentionally, you try to vomit because of whatever the feeling you had, and you thought that you will be feel after that you feel good. So that case, your fasting is gone. You have to remake that day. So the next question is also the same thing, that somebody had an issue, a stomach issue. This is a male person, so he thought that that issue in the stomach, there will be like some feeling. Sometimes you feel that the only way is that you have to vomit, then it will go away. So the same thing, if it is purposely, yes, your fasting is gone. You have to remake that day. If it is not purposely, then in that case, you are safe, and you don't have to fast. This person is asking that I have a problem. I have a lot of balgam, and it comes through my throat, and I cannot take it out. So I swallow it, or it goes down. So is that gonna break my fast? Those things, whatever comes from the chest, or whatever comes from your throat, because of the or sometimes the cold, or other than that, some people, that's their habit. It happens to them. So this does not. There is huge, there is a difference between the scholars since long time. Even the scholars before and the new era, all of them, they has a difference of the opinion in that. But the correct opinion is that the balgham in all these things, even if purposely you swallow it, nothing will happen. Your fasting is correct, and you do not have to worry about your fasting, because that is not a type of the food. It's not something that will be instead of the food. Even if somebody collects his saliva in his mouth and then he swallow that, does not do anything to his fasting. It is his fasting is correct. But try to be careful as much as you can. If you take it out of your mouth, if you throw it away, that will be good. But if you cannot, in that case, there is nothing on you. That is about the saliva, or about the balgham, or about some of the things that sometimes from the cold or from the throat it comes. So nothing, no problem. In the day of the fasting, this is the last question we will speak about. In the day while I'm fasting, I finds out some smell of the food that I have eaten in the sahur, or some taste. I find out some that taste I find out in my mouth, some of the taste of that food that I ate in the sahur, or whatever I drank. So is there any if that affects my fasting? Having the taste of the food or a drink that you had in the sahur, or the smell, having the smell of that food, that drink in your nose, does not affect your fasting. Nothing will happen, because that is not actual eating. That's not actual food or drink. So this is just the smell stayed in your mouth. But when maybe because you had the wudu before the sahur, and then you didn't make a wudu for fajr, or you did not wash your mouth, or you did not brush your teeth. So that is sometimes those smells stays in the mouth, or the taste stays in the mouth and the smell stays in the nose. So that's why, but that does not affect your fasting. Nothing is wrong with that. You can continue your fasting, and you should not worry about your fasting. جزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله فيكم. I mentioned about the question of the if you have any question, you can send it to us, as I stated, to my own number as well, and also to the number of the masjid. The masjid phone number, we have a WhatsApp account on that one. So that is the number is, I'm gonna mention the number. It's 416 546 1414. This is the masjid number. You can send your question to that, and then we will check the question, inshallah, and we will try to answer your questions. Again, my phone number is 647-705-3106. The masjid number is 416 546 1414. You can send your questions, and we will try to answer your question, inshallah azza wa jal. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم. I hope I was able to deliver some knowledge, some rulings of the month of Ramadan, and I hope that you, brothers and sisters, benefit from that. اللهم ارفع عنا البلاء والوباء والغلاء. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من البرص والجنون والجذام وسيء الأسقام. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من جهد البلاء ودرك الشقاء وسوء القضاء. نسأل الله عز وجل أن يتقبل صيامنا وقيامنا. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our fasting, our qiyam, our all good deeds, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our deeds only and only for His sake, sincerely for His sake. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take away this calamity, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us safe and sound, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to get us together back in our masjid. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.